here. Hey everybody, Marisol here from Hot or Not Yoga with James Brown. I know he doesn't look like the infamous singer, but this is nevertheless James Brown. Hi Catherine! Yay! So James is visiting us today. He is, let's see.
I don't know, what am I?
Philosopher extraordinaire. And just an overall, all-around awesome person. But we met through the Love Your Brain program.
We did.
So what I want to really highlight is that the reason we've got James on today is because he's sort of a big deal in the traumatic brain injury community here in New Mexico. So I want to, introduce you, pick his brain a little bit, let you know, because this month, March, is Brain Awareness Month. It's National Brain Injury Awareness Month, and with the Love Your Brain Foundation that we are partnered with, it is also Mindful March, which is the biggest fundraising month that this organization does. So anyway, we'll talk, and I'll ask James to just introduce himself here. So
okay.
Tell us who you are, James.
Well, that's a good question. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Right, me too.
I teach philosophy. I'm a web designer. And let's see, first, I'm brain injured. 27 years actually. I had a tumor in the surgery. Didn't go so well, and I ended up in a coma for a couple months in the hospital and at the time I was a law student, and didn't follow that up, but then instead spent many years raising a child and doing some things at home, and then got a master's degree in philosophy. Been teaching philosophy for 8 years now, and through a whole lot, I landed in Albuquerque and got involved with the Brain Injury Alliance here, and I do a lot of the web work. I sit on the board of directors, a lot of organizational stuff, and really enjoy working in the brain injury community. And I feel like the yoga program, Love Your Brain, is really a good thing. I've done that twice, and I do it more, but my shoulder is not cooperating well. And so anyway.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that you're on the board of directors, because I was questioning whether or not that was the case. I was like, what is his role with the Brain Injury Alliance of New Mexico? I knew that you were doing the web design and development, and you have really brought it forward into the future, into the modern day.
I was doing the web. I was a web developer back 20 years ago probably, and learned a lot of how to work with that. And then I kind of got sidetracked doing the other things in life, and
but you still have that skill set, right?
And,
you still have that
basic skills is there. It's just the tools have gotten a lot better, and there's things that are
so much more
different, better. So yeah.
I hear you. I know. So, I'm figuring out WordPress for my thing, and it's changed a lot, even in the last year, which is for the better.
We work with a web programmer who's in Pennsylvania. Doesn't matter a whole lot, but anyway, yeah, he does a lot of back-end WordPress stuff, kind of behind the scenes, and yeah, it's changed a lot.
It's changed a ton, even in just the 3 years that I've been working with it. So
yeah,
I do agree it's for the better, but anyway, we're on a tangent, so
we're in the weeds.
We're in the weeds. Okay, let's get out of here. So James, so you were a TBI survivor, thriving with TBI for the last 27 years. And you learned about us. I think I went to a brain injury support group, right?
Yeah, you came and visited our support group a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah, and talked about the Love Your Brain program, and then lo and behold, James signed up and came, so that has been great. In addition, though, you and I have participated in Neuroscience Day at UNM.
Yeah.
We've done, during the month of March, there are multiple talks and seminars that UNM and other organizations put on to educate people about the brain, like brain and sleep, brain and pain is happening next week.
Yes, it is.
Just a bunch of different things. So we've also we've visited Health South together. We've just done a lot of things and kind of keeping ourselves involved in the brain injury community and keeping that connection
We
alive.
run a link for you guys all the time, and
Yes,
I try and
on the
talk
website.
up yoga quite a bit amongst the support group community that I'm in.
Yeah, tell me how the series helped you. Maybe that's a good thing to talk about.
Well, it's good to get into the community and to realize that, hey, there are other people that are dealing with various aspects of brain injury. It's good to be able to get out of the community at large. Needs to be able to get out and do things. And the yoga is really wonderful because there's the movement and it's tailored to be appropriate for physical capabilities and things like this. And even some cognitive stuff. You don't do anything super complex. And like I said, I'd keep doing it. My shoulders aren't cooperating.
That
so.
darn shoulder. Need to do some therapy again.
But just meditative. It's important. You could talk about in my philosophy a little bit to make peace with the fact that you've encountered a brain injury. It's largely akin or like having died. The person previously
Like the identity of the person.
has died to an extent. And I think meditative aspect of yoga is important in that it helps someone make peace with the fact that they're a different individual, a new individual that's approaching society and living life. And
I
think that's really, really, really important.
It is, and I think that that's a theme that I hear frequently. So in speaking with you about, you've done many talks around in New Mexico, but also in Arizona and Colorado, about this concept of understanding that a TBI really affects the individual's identity, who they are. And once you suffer that and now have to adapt to a whole new identity, sometimes what you experience is that while you're trying to come to terms with who you are as a new person, your family and your support group is also trying to come to terms with this new identity. And what tends to happen is that immediately people are there to help you, and then once they can't relate to you the same way anymore, they start to fall away. And there's this whole isolation factor that starts to happen, right?
Exactly.
And you're no longer participating in society as the whole.
Yes,
You're participating in a very different way.
What I talk about a little bit is how brain injury separates you to a large extent from society and separates you from whom you were before. And that's who your family and loved ones are used to, and so you all of a sudden become kind of an unknown quantity or
something different, someone different.
And then another thing that I'm aware of in my own life, but also I just was reminded of here recently, and that is that it's important for me to realize that I am not who I was, and that's okay in a lot of ways, you know. And it's really hard because you're used to being this, in my case, physically able person, or certain way, and then all of a sudden that's gone. I mean, people with TBI deal with memory issues, cognitive, emotional issues, things like this. And all of a sudden, you know, if you're not the breadwinner, you're not the be-all you were previously, then, you know, it becomes difficult, and it's important to make peace with that. And I think that way you're largely, I mean, you have to look at it as a piece of you has died, so to speak. And it's not
to be morbid.
Not to be morbid. It's not, you know, this is kind of a nuance in philosophy, but it's not death as in demise, but death as in the end of the who you are and what you're doing in life. You know, and it's
right, which is, I mean, that's, I think when someone who has not experienced a brain injury goes through a significant change, like the loss of a job, you know, and they are the breadwinner in the family. There's a host of emotions that are, you know, that they've got to deal with and overcome and come to peace with. And on top of that, to place maybe the cognitive challenges, perhaps the emotional challenges of regulation, and also that loss of like identity, but not in the way that if someone just lost a job could go get another job. It's a different loss of identity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
it's very
talk
much
about.
more fundamental and to the
See,
self,
if someone loses a job, they
don't lose
could
their
go
skills.
get the same job.
Yeah, they don't lose they don't lose their expertise, and they don't lose their ability, and they don't lose that capability. They're able to just go and find another.
Yeah, and in disability or brain injury in specific, all of a sudden you can't go get that same job. You can't do the same thing. I mean, in my own life, I have to live what I term a part-time lifestyle, so to speak. I've had to recognize that in the late afternoon, evening, my abilities slow down to some extent. I mean, you wouldn't notice it really, but I mean, like, I don't remember things as well, and I've stumbled a little bit more, and you know, things like this. So I've tailored my life to accommodate that. And the big part of it is, and here I am 27 years later, and I haven't gotten this figured out, but the big part is trying to be okay with that and realize that, hey, I don't need to go get stuff done 24/7. I can sit there and watch TV and pet my dog or something.
You can chill. You can Netflix and chill.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's good.
Hi, Julie. I just see that you're on. So yes, there's a big deal, and the reason I think that we kind of went down this path of conversation is that you mentioned that getting out into the community and doing something like the yoga series that we offer is helpful, just to get out and go there. And then also it's a group of people who are involved in the community, so either they've got brain injury or they're caregivers, so they're heavily involved, and are all dealing with the same sort of things. So
Exactly.
it's not like you're just going to be thrown sort of kind of like thrown and left to flounder on your own in a regular public class. You're amongst people who understand.
And that's really, really important. I mean, as a brain disturbed person, I think it's super important. It gives me a lot of peace to realize that I'm in a group of people that have brain injuries, be it yoga, be it support groups, things like this. I say I'm among my people. And, I mean,
you're in your tribe.
And there's this sense of camaraderie that occurs there.
Yeah, I will say, I actually just got a phone call yesterday. We just completed another series on Saturday. Kristen and Megan both taught that series. I'm not sure if you've met Megan. I think you have. But anyway, you did. in any case, they finished the series on Saturday, and I just had a phone call yesterday from a woman who was in the series, and she and another woman, both of them participating, connected during the 6 weeks and became friends. And she called to, they were actually both there, but she called to say they wanted to say thank you for having the opportunity to connect and to meet, and that they've now found a really nice friendship outside of the series, which is really it, right? Community, connecting community. That's what we want.
That's important for people across the spectrum, brain injury on. I mean, that's a fundamental human need is
to connect.
To connect, and
totally.
I think that brain injury tends to disconnect you, tends to isolate you quite a bit, and it's not. I mean, there are some intricacies of brain injury that do, but that's disability in one way, shape, or form or another. It makes necessary this separation from society.
Right.
It's hard to reconnect. So programs like this are super good for that reconnection. I mean, I just coming and sitting and taking the class and doing things. It's really good to be with my people, so to speak. Be with people I have some camaraderie with.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you, are you going to be at Neuroscience Day?
And
oh, good. Stephanie and Megan will also
I
be
heard
there.
that your studio is kind of a presence, but I was trying to figure out how that's going to work.
Yes, kind of same as last year. We're going to do the chair yoga sessions.
Okay.
And then they'll have a table. So anyway, that's Thursday the 14th, right?
Yes.
March 14th at UNM is Neuroscience Day, and you can actually go online to unmhealthservices.com.
Actually, I've got a link on our website.
Oh, on the Brain Injury Alliance
Brain
of New Mexico
Injury
website. Oh, good.
Alliance website, Brain Injury Alliance of New Mexico, and the address is braininjurynm.org, and that's New Mexico. braininjurynm.org.
That's the Brain Injury Alliance website. I'll put it in the comments too, and I'll add a link. But anyway, so if you're interested, Neuroscience Day is really cool. It's UNM Health Sciences departments come together, and they've got a lot of the students who are studying and researching in the programs available. They present what their work is, but they do so in such a way that the general public can understand. And so they actually win. It's a competition to see like who can really present that info, and as an attendee you can go and vote on certain things like, oh hey, I get this, I understand it, I think it's a really cool project, I'm gonna vote for this, and then they win. So it's in their best interest to make the neurosciences language layperson friendly. So in any case, it's really cool. We'll be there too, leading the chair yoga sessions. So and James will be there probably hanging out with us like last year.
Yes, I'll hang out with you. But then also we have a Brain Injury
you guys have a
Alliance
table. Yes, will you be manning the table?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, cool. Good. So
I do like to get around a little bit.
Yeah, of course. You gotta network and mingle. So he'll be manning the table, so you can learn about the Brain Injury Alliance of New Mexico. I think that you guys have done a lot in the recent past with some additional information that you have brought to the table. Maybe some like new energy, right? Because you have a passion for it. So.
I have a passion because
obviously,
I've dealt with this. I've survived it, and they're just in the New Mexico community. There's a lot of people who are interested in brain injury, but as we know, New Mexico is a rural
state.
Yeah, I'm trying not to use complex language, but anyway, so there's a lot of kind of fragmentation and people doing stuff in like maybe Las Cruces or Santa Fe or something like this, and so anyway, we're trying to bring things together and trying to get some cohesiveness. We are opening up a discussion with some research people at UNM, the Center for Brain Recovery and Repair.
Awesome.
We're opening up a discussion to run some of their research on our website. And so
That's
anyway,
good.
that's an ongoing project.
Yeah, so I think, we've discovered that in the state of New Mexico, because there's not one sort of central hub of resource and whatnot, many different groups, like you're saying, it's fragmented because many different organizations are doing really great work to assist brain injury community, but there's duplication of efforts, and also because there's such small things, the state funding is not as great as it should be. So there's not as much resource to offer people who are going through the brain injury experience and their families and the communities around them. So it's something that the Brain Injury Alliance is working toward, is to try to start bringing those pieces together to become that big thing. I do know that the Brain Injury Advisory Council that's appointed by the governor is also doing some of this work, and there was an effort made last year to connect these organizations. So the hope is that we can start to get all of that stuff centralized so that it becomes a more effective, efficient, funded program that if you have a car accident and you experience a TBI, you go into the hospital and you get the resources immediately. So this is the hope that we can work toward in New Mexico. Hey, Monique. So anyway, James is part of that energetic move and shift toward that goal. So, yes. Also, you guys have a golf tournament coming up in April, right?
Isn't
this one of your largest fundraisers?
It is.
For
it is
Brain
our
Injury
largest
Alliance?
fund. And with the state funding being not so great, there is legislation pending that would fund it much more. But with it being like that, I'm from Colorado, and I'm using a model of the Brain Injury Alliance up there, and they raise a lot of funds privately and have fundraisers and sponsors and things like this. And so anyway, I'm trying to gear our organization for that. One aspect of that is we host an annual golf tournament. And it's
so golfers, all of you golfers out there, pay attention.
It's once again braininjurynm.org, and there's a banner that'll take you right to the golf tournament.
When we finish this live broadcast, I'll put the link in the post. That way, it's there, and you can see. So what's the date of it? It's April
6th.
6th, right?
And it's at the University UNM Championship Golf Course, which
cool.
is south. I believe it's
south,
down.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
Yeah, it's a south course.
Cool.
I think it's supposed to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
I don't play golf, but
But you're gonna be there,
I'll
right?
be there. Yes, I will. Okay. Last year I was not able to be because I was just coincidentally out of town that weekend. But anyway, this year I will be.
Yeah, you will be. So I'm gonna see about going out there too. I talked to you about that anyway. But
yeah.
So okay, let's see. So we've talked about. I just want to check the time. So we've talked about James, who experienced surgery kind of gone wrong 27 years ago, has been living and thriving regardless, but has had to adjust and embrace his new identity.
Still in the process.
But is also doing some really amazing work here in the brain injury community in New Mexico, and has connected to us through the Love Your Brain program, which provides...
We run the ad, like I was saying.
Yeah, on the brain injury website. I mean, the Love Your Brain program is free just if you're not familiar, we do a 6-week gentle yoga and meditation fundamental series that includes gentle movement that's modified and instruction that's accommodated for cognitive impairment.
Well, and they can turn the heat up or down. They'll drop of a hat. I mean, that room really.
Yeah, we can adjust the heat like quickly. So heat stimulation challenges that are common are sound and light and heat, and so we can moderate those. We understand those things, and we will adjust accordingly. And then we also include guided meditation, which is important because that's the cognitive aspect. That's where some of the healing in the brain starts to take place. But also it's a scenario where you can start to find some peace in the moment, which helps with the embracing and acceptance aspect.
It really does. You know, I find that through my own life, I find that I get a lot of centering and peace when I'm around those of brain injury and those like Marisol that work with us, with brain injured people, and you figure out. I mean, it's just good to get some zen, so to speak, about it. And because, like I said, when your brain is injured, you're out in the world, it's not so friendly and not so easy and not so accommodative and things like this. And people don't really understand very well. Yeah. And
so that's what we went to training to learn to learn these things about the brain injured community so that we can make those accommodations and make it a friendly and welcoming and warm place. Additionally, the sessions each week during the 6-week series include a section of sharing time so that everybody can share their stories, but also it's centered around like resilience and positivity so that we can start to look for and utilize and implement the tools that we have as yogis and people who are working with meditation and grounding techniques and centering techniques, how to implement those tools in daily life. So each session includes meditation, movement, and sharing, and that's where the community aspect starts to really play in. So this program we offer 4 times a year. It's 6 weeks each session, and then it is free to anybody who has experienced a TBI and or their caregiver. Caregivers don't actually have to attend with the person that they're caring for, but commonly a caregiver is providing transportation for the person who has experienced the TBI. So it's really common that they attend together, but we just want to clarify that sometimes it's okay. I mean, if there's the ability to come separately, that's an option. It's not limited. You don't have to come together. But in any case, we offer that series, like I said, 4 times a year. It is free to the public. There is a questionnaire that you go through to kind of express how you came about your TBI, whether or not you're a caregiver, all those things. And then, that information, we also give the questionnaire after the series so that it's all self-reported. Each person it answers a series of questions like how they're dealing with daily life, what their state of mind and energy is before the series, and then also after the series. And that information is collected, and it actually goes to it's Dartmouth College that's doing this long-term research project about how yoga and meditation can positively affect the TBI scenario. So this whole organization, it's called LoveYourBrain, and they are completely funded by donations. So they pay the teachers, our teachers here, to teach the series. We offer the space and the time, and we do the community outreach, and we do the resources connected to the program. We handle that ourselves. And so we are also trying to join the effort to fundraise for LoveYourBrain. We're going to be hosting a couple of donation classes. One of our teachers, Megan, will be hosting one in the East Mountains. She's from out in the East Mountains. She'll be doing something at Thin Line Fitness on March 22nd. And that will be a donation class. And then I'm also going to teach one here on March 30th. at our studio. It's in the evening. It's a Saturday. It'll be from 5 to 6 p.m. We'll do a gentle yoga and meditation session. And then afterward, we'll have tea and snacks. And so I invite you to come. Our team goal this year is to raise $450. So I really actually think that we can do that pretty easily if everybody just gives like $5-10 to come to those classes. So I'm hoping that we can get that stuff done on the Facebook page. There are multiple events on our site on Hot or Not Yoga NM that talk about those classes, those donation classes. There's a link to go directly online. You can donate there, or you can come to the classes and donate this way. Completely up to you. It's tax deductible, so that's another incentive. But I also want to mention again that I'm going to put the brain injury. It's braininjurynm.org is the website for the Brain Injury Alliance of New Mexico. And if you're a golfer, go join the tournament in April. The weather's already beautiful outside. April 6th is going to be amazing. So that golf tournament's going to be super fun. There's going to be a lot of door prizes and everything, right? There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, raffles, door prizes. Yeah. I mean, it's food and all that. Event. I mean, it's kind of a big
deal. Yeah, totally. So if you have golfer friends, if you're interested in helping this brain injury community, there are lots of, we'll also be handing out, just on a little side note, excuse me, we'll also be handing out Band-Aids here at the studio. And the thing about the Band-Aids is that you put them on your head, because if you were to look at James right now, you would not be able to see anything about his brain injury.
That's a big struggle amongst people with brain injury. I mean, my disability is actually more physical than most. A lot of people have injuries that are very internal. Mm-hmm. Like absolutely functional people. And then when you spend a half an hour with them and talk or this and that and the other, you realize that hey, something's not quite right. So the Band-Aid things are very good.
It's a way to bring attention to, like, you put it on here. So we'll be posting pictures at Neuroscience Day. Also, we'll hand those out. We'll be posting pictures throughout the month of people with their Band-Aids, because again, it's an invisible injury. And so when you're walking around in the grocery store and someone has an emotional outburst, you never know. That could be someone who's experienced a brain injury and is a completely functional person, but has the emotional regulation challenge.
Yeah,
that frequently comes
with.
It
happens.
Right, and it totally happens.
That's a pretty regular thing.
Yeah, so it's not something you can see, but because of that, it's something that people can't understand. And so we're trying to bring awareness to that aspect of it, is that you can be walking around and not know that 5 people around you have suffered a TBI and are living with the after effects. So we're trying to bring a lot of awareness and education to the community this way. So look for the Band-Aids if you want to. It would be awesome to take a selfie with a Band-Aid on your forehead and post it on our Facebook page. You can tag us Hot or Not Yoga NM, or you can even post it on Instagram at Hot or Not Yoga NM also. That would be awesome. You could also do the hashtag Mindful March or hashtag TBI. That would be awesome. So yeah, if you want to join the effort, help educate, and maybe make some donations on behalf of our awesome TBI community. I will say that the community of people that I've been lucky enough to interact with are some of the most resilient, positive, amazing people I've ever met. And I think everybody should know someone with a TBI. We've got enough of those instances. I think the statistic is like every 13 seconds someone suffers a TBI in the country.
It's something like that.
So more often than not, you are walking amongst people who've experienced a TBI and you don't realize that.
And people with disability are frequently put away, so to speak, mm-hmm. in historical terms. Mm-hmm. And now trying to interface with the community, there are more people with disability and brain injury that are out there mm-hmm. and that you might encounter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, all right. Anything else you want to add?
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
I don't think I should go into a philosophy lecture about.
A philosophy lecture. Well, they're interesting. You have shared some of them with me, so there wouldn't be like a lack of interesting content. So, but anyway, we do have only a few minutes. We're actually a little over our time, but thank you for joining us, everybody. Yeah, I know we went into the weeds, but it's a big topic, and we could talk about it for hours. In any case, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that we see you soon, and maybe at one of the donation classes. Again, March 30th. Hey, Marcy. March 30th here at the studio, or March 22nd in Edgewood at Thin Line Fitness. Okay, I'll be posting all that info on the Facebook page. Much of it is already posted, but we'll get those links up right away. Okay, guys, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. James, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Have a good day. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.